So Deani, tell me again. You found some change on Facebook that you want to talk about.
Yes, so I just realized this this morning, and then I started doing some digging. So while I was on Facebook, I noticed that there was a new tab called Friends, and I hadn't noticed that Friends tab before. And when you click on the Friends tab, what happens is that it allows you to see the different posts that your friends have uploaded to Facebook. You don't see any ads, you don't see any pages, you see the friend's profile information that they posted. And so it got me thinking about some things like, hey, number one, how long has this been here? And it's very helpful because most of the time I would like to see what's going on with my friends on Facebook. And so I thought it was a really cool feature because I think that's why most people are on Facebook, at least in the beginning stages of Facebook. People wanted to connect with people they went to school with, went to college with, work with, friends, family, that kind of thing. And so they're kind of going back to that original thought. So when I started doing some digging, I looked on Meta on their newsroom, and they released this article on March 27th, and it was saying bringing the magic of friends back to Facebook. So apparently this rolled out on March 27th of this year, 2025. And what they're saying is that they're trying to make it easier to connect with your friends, and also that there would be no recommended content. So that means that there's no ads and all of that kind of stuff. And I checked and there were no ads. I don't know how long that's going to last.
I've been scrolling since you've been talking, and I haven't seen a single one. I'm
No
scrolling.
ads. I'm like, what? Just all friends, whoever you're connected to, that's all that you see. And so it says, this is the first of several experiences coming this year to bring back the joy of what we first created on Facebook. So I thought this was a very interesting thing to talk about because what does that mean for businesses and organizations who are using Facebook for marketing? Because like us, other businesses have Facebook pages where they are posting content to those pages, whether it's videos or single post images or carousels, that kind of thing, to Facebook, and they're using that to market their products and services. Well, on this Friends tab, you would not pop up on there because this is based off of your friend's profile accounts, not the pages. And so that means that, for example, Pixel 13 Facebook page would not show up in that Friends tab, but David Sims or Deanya Kelly might show up in that Friends tab if we're friends. And so what does that mean for branding and marketing and things like that? And so I think what it shows us is the importance of personal branding. So you might hear that a lot, and I think it's really going to come into play now because if you are not using your personal accounts, then you're not going to show up in that tab. And so I think for the most part, at least on the Facebook platform, that is why people are on Facebook, to follow their friends. And so they just happen to come across your content when they're not in the when they're not in the friends tab. But before the friends tab existed, they just happened to come across your content because Facebook threw it up in their algorithm and blah, blah, blah. And your content that you posted had to grab their attention in order for them to hear it out. Well, now you're not even showing up at all unless you're posting it to your personal profile. So I think that at least on the Facebook platform, you might be silenced. Like people may not even know that your business exists if they never navigate outside of the friends tab. So the question is, how often do you think people will navigate outside of the friends tab once they catch wind of it? Because it's only been active for about 2.5 months now. So I don't even know if it has rolled out to everyone's devices, but I imagine when it does and people catch wind of it, like, oh, you mean I don't have to see everybody's ads and I don't have to see all of the stuff I'm not interested in? I can only just see my friends. I would imagine that's where they're going to stay. So I think when it comes to personal branding and things like that, that will be the only way that you'll get in front of people on Facebook. What does that mean for Facebook advertisement and sales? I don't know. I think that's kind of dicey because if the majority of people stay in that friends tab, then how does Facebook make money? Because now there's no ads. People aren't looking at ads. So I imagine the viewership goes down when it comes to that. And so, um, how does that work when people are paying money for their ad to be shown to so many eyeballs and nobody's looking at it?
Mm.
So I'm curious, what is the ripple effect of that when it comes to marketing and the money that Meta makes? And do you even want to put an ad on Facebook knowing that the viewership probably is going to go down if people start dwelling in the friends tab and your ad doesn't show up in the friends tab? What does that mean? Are you still willing to buy ads on Facebook knowing that people are probably not going to look at it because they're not outside of the friends tab? So I think there's a ripple effect that will take place. I'm curious where people will navigate to. I think personally for me, that's exactly where I would dwell, is in the friends tab, because I'm really not interested in anything else. But if you happen to be talking about your brand and your business and the things that you're passionate about, and we're friends, then I most likely am going to hear you out because number one, I already know you, I already trust you, we're connected some kind of way. So that goes back to that whole personal branding. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. And so if we're connected, there's already a trust factor that has been established, whether it's low or high. There's some kind of trust that is established because we're connected in some kind of way. And this is your personal profile. So I think it's going to be more important to really be authentic on those personal profiles now, especially on the Facebook platform, because you just might become invisible if you're not.
Yeah. I don't know how you treat Facebook. For me, I treat Facebook like a personal place.
Mm-hmm.
So like my business is completely separate. It's very different than I am on LinkedIn, whereas LinkedIn, even though I have a personal page, it's really more of a personal professional page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like if you look at my friends on LinkedIn, which they're not called friends for a
Mm-hmm.
reason, probably, um, they're my business friends, right?
Right.
But on Facebook, they're sometimes actual friends, people I went to school with or go to church with, or
Mm-hmm.
I know IRL, right? But changing this for me means I have to decide, do I want my business friends to also see the personal things that I have, which I don't post a lot personally. So for me, it's not a big deal. I'm not putting a bunch of pictures of my grandkids and kids and all this stuff out there. But you can easily find that. You can easily find, oh, this is David's kid, and this is their grandkid. Whatever. You can track all that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it becomes like a privacy thing. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
private do I expect to keep my life on the one side, the personal side, but my business life, I want public. I want it everywhere.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know about it,
Yep.
but not necessarily the private. So it's going to fundamentally change how I use Facebook if I want Facebook to also give me the results I want from the business side.
Yeah, that's a good point because I'm very similar in that way. I tend to post a lot of different things on my personal page, but my personal page is not open to like the public. Like you have to It's like it's not like the business page where we post it and anybody can see it. On my personal one, you have to be my friend to see certain things. And so that's a good point. And it's like, well, do I want the entire world to see all of my photos and of my family? And so, yeah, then the question becomes, what is Facebook going to allow? Because the last time I checked, and it could have changed because it's been a minute, Facebook doesn't really like you to have more than one personal profile. They prefer that you have one personal profile, and then you can set up as many pages as you like. So you can have a business page, a church page, any pages that you want, but the profile should be set for one account. So it's like, are people going to try to set up another profile so that they can show up in the friends tab and they treat that profile differently than the real personal one? So it's like, and what is Facebook going to allow? Are you going to start seeing a lot of duplications happening with the profile part of Facebook? So I'm just curious how that's going to roll out. But that's a really good point, because I don't want the entire world to see some of my really personal things, because I don't want them all in my family. Like, I don't mind my friends seeing it, because I actually don't accept friend requests from everybody on Facebook, on
Yeah.
my personal page. I just don't. I have to know you in some kind of way.
Is this your
That's just
personal
kind of how I
profile?
am.
Like, yeah, now the question is going to be, is this your personal profile or your personal profile?
Right, right. Yeah, you got the primary personal and the secondary personal. So yeah, I'm just curious how that's going to play out. But I would imagine people will want to dwell in that friends tab, because that was the original idea behind Facebook in the first place, which was to connect to friends and, to stay on top of what's going on with the people you went to school with and your friends and your family and things like that. So they are trying to go back to that, but monetarily, what does that
I,
mean?
I think I think
So,
that, I mean, you and I both know, as we're talking about this, it'll probably change in 30 days.
yep.
So, um, I think they will monitor it. They'll see what's happening there, and maybe even they're doing this to get people into that tab more. It's
Mm,
like, let's get them in there, and then once we get them in there and get them used to using it, then we start slowly changing things, because that's the way a lot of these things work.
yeah.
They start out giving you everything you could possibly want, and then once you're in there, they start slowly adding the things you don't really want, but you're
Yeah.
already in there and you're invested, and so you just take it.
Yeah. What if they have like, and they might already be thinking this, but what if they had like premium ads that show up in the friends tab? So you have like your regular ads that show up in just the regular home feed. But then if you're in that friends tab, maybe they later, once they get everybody functioning in this friends tab, what if they create like a premium ad
It's gonna
type
be called,
product where now you can have your ads show up in the friends tab?
yep, it's gonna be called friendvertising.
But I wonder how, I bet you it would be extremely effective though, because people do business with who they know, like, and trust. So this is like a huge word of mouth deal right here, where it's like, hey, you got 1,000 friends that can see your ads now. Whereas now you can purchase an ad on Facebook and people still don't see it. And it's like, man, I've been running that ad for 6 months and people don't see your ad, the ones that you want to see them, and they're following you and they don't see it.
Well, that's the thing, is the whole following part. Because, for example, if I've got friends and I'm posting, I'm assuming I'm posting personally on my personal page about my business, then my friends theoretically should already be seeing that. So why do I need to pay for advertising for me? I can just post it. I don't need to pay for advertising. So
Mm,
the other side of it is, I want to advertise to people that aren't my friends.
mhm.
Like, I want to advertise to strangers so they can know who I am and become followers. So
Yeah.
the difference, you brought that up, the difference between followers and friends is very important, because that's like if I'm advertising to my clients. Like,
Mhm.
that's necessary, but I can't get new clients if I'm only advertising to my current clients.
Mm.
So same thing, if I'm only advertising to friends, I'm not going to be able to get new business in if I'm only advertising to friends.
Yeah.
It's not as effective. I don't know. There's a lot of questions around it, and you brought up a ton of great questions. It'll be interesting to see where this goes in the short term and the long term.
Yep.
But I'm glad that they have given us the ability to only look at our friends as crazy lives. But it's interesting,
Yep.
interesting time.
Yep.
So I would like to know how people are going to navigate this and what results are getting. If you were paying for advertising before this change and now you're paying for advertising after that, what is the results you're getting? What does that
Mhm.
look like? How does that
Mhm.
change? So anyway, that's our topic and show for today, and gives you a lot to ponder and think about for sure.
Yep.
So anything else, Deon, before we wrap up?
No, that's about it. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, we hope that you will continue to market yourself and your personal brand so that you can increase your business and your impact in the world. Thanks for watching.